World Chess Championship 2018 game number 1 highlight video. So I will show you the highlights of the first game between challenger Fabiano Caruana and World Champion Magnus Carlsen. If you would like to see the full analysis video where I showed the entire game, please go to a link in the description. So in this one, we'll do the quick version and I'll show you the highlights. And there were many in this long and epic game. So much I can tell you right up front. So Caruana with the white pieces started with e4 and we had a Russell-Limo variation. So just to go quickly through the first moves to see the kind of structure they had on the board with the doubled c-pawns. This was the structure, and soon white played f4 and we had this kind of position on the board. So just to give you an idea where we're heading now, and in fact, in this kind of position, black is already a little bit more pleasant because it is not clear where white is playing, and this was also Caruana's problem in this phase of the game. Black's position is very solid and he has a lot of squares covered and is controlling a lot of important diagonals with the bishops. So let's go to the first critical moment and to the first very interesting moment, which was right here. A few moves later, the position changed in this manner and we see white has played g4, and here black is well placed with the bishop on e5 in complete control. He could play it slow here, he has all the time in the world, but Carlsen showed his ambitions and sacrificed the pawn with knight f8, sacrificed the pawn on f6 to quickly get the knight to a good square, either f4 or d4, but mostly f4, and Caruana accepted the pawn sacrifice, and then the position opened up like this. We see the g file opened up against the king, and it's really the king that is the problem for white in this position. The king is rather vulnerable. Let's go ahead to the next critical moment, and once again the king is the main problem here. In this position, black has won a pawn on h5, but still the position is within or close to equality, I should say. Black is pressing here, but with accurate play, white could hold the balance. But Caruana had spent already a lot of time to defend, and now he played one move too quickly, and this was a big mistake. He played the move king to e2, after which his position becomes lost. He needs to play e5 here to attack the pawn on c6 and create counterplay. King b7 would be forced, knight to f6, offering a queen trade, but black can give a check on h4, king to e2, and now rook g3, queen takes 4, queen takes f4, and seems that white is able to escape and should hold, even though it will be still unpleasant, because in all these positions it's always the white king which is out in the open and much less safe than the black king, nicely tucked away on b7. But after only 23 seconds, Caruana played king to e2 and is objectively lost in this position. Why is that so? Because black can attack on both sides of the board. In fact, here Carlsen could have made use of this fact by going queen e5, which was a very strong move, to enter on b2 or to enter with the rook, and white cannot hold off the black attack. Black is winning here, especially considering also that Caruana was so low on time. I don't think he would have survived this. After h5, black was also very much in the driver's seat until we come to the next critical moment. Here, now Carlsen played his first big mistake, and he gives away all this advantage in just one move. He goes h4. The pawn was hanging, but black could have ignored it. He should have improved the king position, defend the pawn on c6, and in this way stopping any e5 ideas, which was the problem after h4. And if white takes, black once again can bring the queen back, has ideas queen b1, queen b2, or queen a1, and the white king in the center is just a permanent problem. Black has a long-term attack and is objectively even winning here, even though of course white can still put up resistance. But this was the way to go, since after h4 Caruana had the chance to get back into the game, but he missed it. He played king to d2, but he should go e5 to get counterplay attacking the pawn c6 as well as the pawn f4. And the best black can do here is to go rook g5, but after moves knight d2, rook takes e5, knight e4, the knight has come to a much better place and white can escape into the endgame here, queen d2, and he has very good drawing chance. So this was the way to go and the way to stay in the game. But Caruana chose king d2, after which his position is lost once more. Now let's come to the next critical moment, which was right here. In this position, it's the 40th move. Carlsen has to play one more move to get 50 minutes extra on the clock, and he made a crucial mistake. He took the pawn on c3. Instead, he should come back with the queen to g1 when white also needs to come back with the knight, because queen a1 is a very strong threat, something that white cannot allow. And after knight f1, white's position is very passive. The pieces are tied down, he's defending, and black has different ways to improve his position. One way is to go b5 to play b4 and open up the d4 square for the black piece, or also toy with the idea of playing c4. The best white can do here is to go rook to d2, but after b4, obviously white cannot go c4 after queen d4. He has to pretty much resign right away as black is attacking on both sides of the board. So the best white can do is play d4 now, but after b takes c3, king takes, c takes d4 check, king goes back, black has just won a pawn, and still white has the weak king, and black is objectively winning here, even though it's not as clear as beforehand at the other moment we saw, but this is also just winning. Carlsen took on c3, and now Caruana had enough time again on the clock to calculate correctly here that going into his endgame would give him enough counterplay, and that's what he did, and he managed to simplify matters in a few moves, as we'll see, to a rook endgame, which we will see in a moment. Here now the pawns get traded, and here we go. We reach this rook endgame. Black has 3 pawns, white only has 2, but all the pawns are on the same side of the board, and this is a draw. In general, rook endgames have a huge drawing tendency, and this is no exception. Of course, Carlsen tried for a long time. Actually, this is the 55th move, but let's move forward to the final position, which is this, the 115th move. So he tried to win this rook endgame for another 60 moves, but he could not. Caruana defended well, or at least he did not blunder. The position was not too difficult to defend, but he defended it well, and then Carlsen had to accept a draw. And what a great escape for Fabiano Caruana, who was lost several times in the game, and of course what a missed opportunity for Magnus Carlsen, who had a huge advantage, and usually he does not let such advantages go. So, well, what more could we wish for in the first game of the World Championship? As I said, if you would like to see the full analysis of this game, please click on the description, on the link in the description. And then game 2 starts on November 10th, and let's hope for another interesting, exciting game as this one. This promises to be a very interesting, exciting match. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye bye.